Hello and welcome to this episode of Break Even by Breakfast on the Accounting Channel with me, Colin Sweetman. The Accounting Channel is sponsored by First Accounts. Please visit firstaccounts.ie for all your accounting needs. In this episode, I was joined by Wendy Slattery, the CEO and co-founder of BeautyBuddy, an app which helps you to make the right decisions when buying cosmetic and beauty products through the use of online beauty reviews. If you like the video, please like, share and subscribe. Thanks very much and enjoy the video. So, for those watching who haven't heard of BeautyBuddy, can you tell us a bit more about the company, what problems it solves and how it all got started?
Can, of course. Thanks for having me, Colin. Yep. The BeautyBuddy is a data analytics company for the beauty and cosmetic industry. We gather the data through an app that we have built, a very innovative app that some people have said it's like TripAdvisor for beauty. So it gives independent ratings and reviews on products, allows the user to scan the barcode of a product in a store to get the information they need to purchase the product from their peers, so so that is the highlight of our what we do at the minute. We got started in 2017. We had the idea for the business we were the people that had the problem with the beauty. We're not beauty gurus, we're not makeup artists, we don't know the answers, and that is how we came up with the idea, is because we had the problem of walking into a store where there's thousands of products and trying to actually identify which one is actually the best one, not based on price, not based on packaging, but actually based on the product itself. And so we were the user with the problem, so we decided to solve it for ourselves, and on the journey we realized, we weren't the only ones with the problem, so that has made it what it is today. The biggest thing in a business is the product market fit. Like what is the size of the market? Have you got, enough people have this problem, right? So basically we ran focus groups, and we did we set up a closed Facebook group that would be doing the same kind of thing, helping people or people giving each other advice on questions and things like that. And that grew really fast, and we saw we weren't the ones answering the questions because we didn't have the answers, but everybody else was helping each other, and that validated that there was a space for peer reviews on beauty and cosmetic problems and different things like that. So that validated it. The reviews, the focus groups validated, and we did focus groups from 15 years of age up to 65 years of age, and validated it through that. We also validated it by speaking to the brands as well, to ask them how they connect with users and how they figure out because they spend so much on research and development and marketing, but when a customer picks up a product in the shop, they're just not connected with them. They have no influence in that moment, and we're giving back that influence, but from a peer-to-peer, not from a brand's opinion. So makeup artists and different people that are not even makeup artists, people that are into beauty, that talk about beauty on their stories, and telling them about this app, because actually they get asked the same questions all the time by their followers. They get asked, what color lipstick is that? What make is that you're wearing? And they have to repeat themselves a lot, where by having the app and having their own profile, somebody can search them on the app and can see all the products they use in their virtual makeup bag. They can see their ratings and the reviews of the different products. So it makes their lives easier. So by reaching out to them and letting them know it exists, and they do it, and then they actually post and say about the app, and they found this, and this is where you can find their reviews. So without it being a paid or anything, it's just more of an information sharing that this is available to you. So that has worked really well, but it's time consuming, to reach out and find the right people. So it is time consuming. So it's not completely free, obviously, because you have people doing it, but we're not paying for the advertising of it.
It costs in time, not in money, basically.
Exactly. Yeah.
Do you have any more product features that you're planning on releasing, or are you happy with the
Yes.
product you've got now?
Oh my God, our product, our tech roadmap is just unbelievable. I'm so excited about it. I feel like it's like I'm constantly waiting on Christmas morning for the releases, because Tracy, my co-founder, would be more on the tech side, I'm very much, I would like the feature tomorrow. Well, actually yesterday, but I'm moving to tomorrow. But actually, tech takes way longer than anyone expects. And I think when you're a startup and you're not a tech startup, tech founder, your expectations of the technology are much shorter, but actually it takes much longer. But actually this week we are launching a new features which allows, so you can put up a review, but the feature will now allow you to comment and review back, and to like someone's post, and to like their review, and to comment back on their review, whether you like it or you don't like it. So it just creates more engagement for the user, which is very exciting. We've been testing it recently, and yeah,
Is this your start at community building, essentially?
Oh yeah, complete community building, and we have more features down the road for community building. At the moment, you can follow people as well now, so you can follow them like on Instagram or whatever. You can follow them, and then you have as well, you'll have notifications now if somebody likes your post or comments on your review or something like that. So it's definitely moving along to the community engagement, and that's what it's all about. It's all about that engagement, and there's loads more features and releases coming out, but obviously they take longer than I would like. So, but yeah,
what holds it up the most? Is it testing or
money? Money. Not enough tech. Like if I had my way now, we'd have probably like a team of 20 tech people, but it's money. It's a team. It's the size of the team. It's and what can be achieved with that team and with the money you have. So that's what holds it up. Like our tech team are fantastic, and they work, like, especially, even everybody's working from home now, and they've just like gone above and beyond.
Do you have a mix of internal and external tech team? Like, do you have outsourced techies and your own in-house development team?
We actually don't, and it's quite unusual because I'm part of like a founders forum group and stuff, and most of them would have outsourced tech outside Ireland, but we don't. We felt that because we weren't tech founders per se, we weren't coding ourselves, even though Tracy would have tech background, but not coding. She's not coding. We needed to keep it in-house, and we needed the people to be around us. Now, in fairness, our top priority was like a CTO role that was, the best that we could find, and we're blessed with who we have, like, and he has definitely saved us from a lot of mistakes and a lot of costs and a lot of everything, and then has helped us obviously recruit the rest of the team. I would be confident enough to outsource now because we have the structure, we have how it works on a daily basis, we have the tracking, we have everybody, it's pointed, it's very easy tracked, and it's because we're now working from home for the last 4 months. You could easily have somebody working from home in a different country now, right? Because we have the structure in place, but it would not work for us at the beginning because you can't be sure that they're, what's being built is not a house of cards, that it functions, but at the back end of it for scaling. And ours is about scale, right? So we're planning to go, from 0 to 100 miles an hour in like 2 seconds. That's our plan, right? But our technology has to not fall over when we do that.
Of course.
So,
in terms of that, though, in terms of everything, including the pandemic, what's been the most challenging non-financial aspect of the business for you so far?
The most non-financial, it's nearly like everything comes back to finance. It really does, and what you can do and what you can't do. But actually, I haven't really had many I can't really think of anything that's non-financial impact in my I think as any CEO, it's all about the fundraising, the money, the runway. What can we do? Well, we can't do that because of money. Like, it's not. So from a non-financial, because I love managing people, I love communicating, I love teams, I love all that kind of things, and challenges.
Maybe I can rephrase it a bit. What was your biggest mistake so far?
Our biggest mistake really is more that our expectation of time. really was, you know. So if you had asked me when we had this idea, and we had the idea in May 2017, now literally had the idea, and then we were looking around going, how do we do this? How do we become a global company? What supports do we need? I would have said to you, we would have had 1 million users probably by the end of 2018. Because I believed that, right? At the time, I believed the technology that I wanted built could be done quickly. So say 3 months to build it, right? And then when you go more into it and how much technology is needed for even to put it in a like and a comment, and this has to go back to that page and that page, you know, the detail of what we were wanting is a huge build. And then it goes back to the finance. So what can you build for what money you have? So mine was time, you know, even fundraising, time. My expectation of fundraising
When did you
was
realize that you
short.
needed to? When was the first time you realized that you needed to raise finance? Was it pretty much straight away?
We knew straight away what the idea we have and where we wanted to take it, that we'd had to figure out how to get investment to grow it, and the knowledge and support to be able to do that right, and to mitigate as many mistakes as possible at the beginning. And we did that by being part of all the different programs we were part of, you know.
What was your very first steps in getting the finance?
Well, I think the first steps was the New Frontiers program. We did New Frontiers 1 in Blanchardstown with Colin, and then we did New Frontiers 2 in Maynooth Athlone. Nick Allen runs that, and basically that €15,000 that you get as part of the New Frontiers got us to build a beta version of our app, to just test it in the market. Like, it was a progressive web app. It was just to test, to make sure before we actually put lots of money behind anything, that people actually wanted to use something like this, you know, that they would download it and they would interact with it. So that money was the first step. And also then you got, you know, investor ready, as they called it. So they showed you about pitch decks and the investor decks and all those. And
Actually,
then you had connections.
That comes on to my next question. What do they want in return for the finance? Did they want projections and all these type of, like, I'm just trying to ask in terms of what should a startup CEO be ready to have to hand when they want finance?
So absolutely they want, most of them would want a teaser document, which is a 2-page document, you know, with all what you've achieved to date. And, you know, they're not looking for financials as in what you've achieved financially at the very start. It's all about what you've done. How many customers did you talk to? How many people did you talk to? All of that's classed as traction, to show that you've been, you know, working on it. Projections are definitely something that you have to do. We do 3 years. Some people want 4. In fairness, a lot of the investors that you will talk to will tell you that the projections they know, the projections you're giving them are not true, because unless you have a crystal ball, that doesn't work. And it's even for the bigger, like, it doesn't work. You've never launched, you have no history, you've nothing to market it against.
You could almost ask, why do they ask for them then, if there's just
because they want to know that you can do them, right? And they want to know that you can understand them, and they want to know that if you're saying I'm going to have a turnover of 5 million next year, and I've only 1 million this year, and you don't hire any extra staff, and you don't have any extra expenses going out, but your money goes up from 1 to 5 million, they know you don't understand what you're talking about from running a business perspective. And they want to make sure that you understand that to increase your sales, you have to increase your team. Or if you have a product, you have to buy more stock, and that has to go up, and, you know, all that kind of. So they're looking to see that you understand.
They don't just focus on the financial information; they focus on all of it, basically.
They focus on, it's not it really isn't the numbers. The numbers for them is really to see that you have ambition. So if you turn around and say, well, we're going to make 1 million in 5 years' time, they're like, well, I'm not, you know, that's not big enough for me. So they want to see that you have big goals, not too crazy either. So it's a like happy medium. And they want to understand that you get the whole business and how it works as a whole. So, and in fairness to most investors, it's really, if you ask any of them, it's about the team first at that stage. It's whether they like you or whether they believe that you can bring this business to somewhere. And then it's about the numbers and different things like that. Because as many of them have said, you can give a bad idea to a good team and they'll make it a good idea.
I've not
You
heard
can
that one
give,
before, but that sounds good actually. Yeah.
do you know what I mean? So, or you can give, that's the opposite. You can give a great idea to a bad team and it'll turn out to be a bad business.
What's your number one tip for startups in terms of like a practical tip when they're going in front of a venture capitalist or looking for seed finance?
They're looking for seed to be prepared, like really prepared, to know your numbers, and to understand your numbers, because they do want to know that detail, of how will you get there, what size is your market, be able to answer every single question, write down every single question they could possibly ask you and have your answers for that. And just be prepared, but also be confident. Like, don't forget, for me, it's very much don't forget that the right investor is out there for you. Do you know what I mean? And that not every investor, even the ones that say yes to you, are the right investor to bring onto your team. It's all about the investor is part of your team. So if you don't get on or you get a wrong feeling or something, don't be afraid to say no, thank you either. And I know it's hard as a startup because you really want the money, but it can really impact your team. I've seen it with people bringing in investors that,
Would saying no to an investor maybe impact your reputation with other investors?
No, not that I've seen at all. It's like the investors saying no to, to Uber and to like, it doesn't, like, the other investors might look at them going, oh, you missed out on that, but they completely understand. It's in that moment. It's how the presentation was done that day. Do you know what I mean? But all I'm saying is that the right investors are out there, and they don't necessarily, you're saying VCs and stuff like that, they don't have to have a VC hat on them. Some investors that we've met through LinkedIn and stuff, and they didn't have investor in their title. So don't be going down the route that it's an investor. And the one thing to look out for is people that understand your industry. So they understand the problem you're trying to solve. So find someone in that industry that has made money and has exited from other companies. They understand your problem. So you're not trying to explain it to someone who hasn't a clue of that industry. And they're the ones that you should be targeting, not just because they have investor in their name.
Okay, and that's very useful information actually. My last question would be, what advice would you give to startups entering into the technology software as a service industry when they're selling software?
Just the advice I would have is absolutely go for it. The world, because of the pandemic, the world has very much come closer and onto your doorstep now. The opportunity to sell your software now globally is easier, and especially software as a service. You can sell it into another country without leaving Ireland, So absolutely 100% go for it. Just do your market research, find your product market fit, and go for it. Because
I thought of a better question actually.
Okay, great.
What would you tell yourself if you could go back to May 2017? What would you tell? If you had like 2 minutes to say something to your past self?
It's going to take a lot longer than you think. It's going to be a lot harder than you think, and it's going to be a lot more rewarding than you think.
Okay, that sounds good. Thanks very much, Wendy, for joining us. And
no problem at all. Thanks for having me, Colin.